Hello everyone, welcome back to Circus Mirandus, Chapter 5, The Messenger. The messenger's name was Chintzy, and she returned to Circus Mirandus just before the sun set on Derry afternoon. She ignored the exciting oohs and ahs of the children who spotted her as she zipped towards the black and gold tent she called home. All this rain, she squeaked. She squawked as she was safely atop her perch. I don't know why the head allows a gray, cold, wet ruins the place. She ruffled her damn red feathers and glared with one beady yellow eye at the man who bends light, who was fiddling with an ornate silver coffee service beside her perch. He looked as he had for centuries. His sandy hair was a tangled nest, and between brown leather coats swept the ground. His nose was strong, almost. Chintzy had been known to admire from time to time, like a proper beak. The meadow around the circus needs rain as much as any other living thing, he said. You're just in a snip because you wasted your days on a fool's errand. Not every twitch of your tail is magical event. I told you I wasn't expecting any messages. Chintzy snatched a lemon cookie off the cookie tray with one clawed foot. Shows what you know, she muttered around a beakful of crumbs. I told you, he said again, then paused. Wait, there was a message? She shook her tail feathers at him. You won't be insulting my tail twitching anymore, will you? She said smugly. I wouldn't have gone if there wasn't a message flying all the way. My poor wings. The tray rattled as he plunked the creamer onto it. Who could it possibly... He looked sharply at her. It wasn't Victoria. Was it? Chintzy snorted at him. It was her favorite rude sound. Of course not. After all these years, not that I would deliver a message from her anyway. Not after what she did. I suppose that it's for the best. Who sent the message? You suppose right. Can you imagine what the head would say? The message, Chintzy, he reminded her. I almost perished of fatigue, you know. She dropped on her perch in an attempt to look terribly foreign dramatic. You could have lost me. He rolled his eyes. I am rarely so lucky. Chintzy shrieked. Do not swear at me. I know for a fact that Porter opened the door for you last night. It's not as though you had to flap all the way here. She turned her back at him. Ingrate. He sighed. I know, I'm sorry, Chintzy. I do appreciate your hard work. Would you please give me the message? Well, if you're going to beg, she spun round and puffed out her scarlet chest. I am a professional, you defending. You know, the letter distinguished in the rain. You insist upon defending, but I memorize it for safekeeping. Very impressive. I am, she agreed. The message is from a child who saw your show. Then she paused and titled her head. Well, no, that's not exactly right. He's not a child anymore. He grew up. The man who bends light furrowed his brow. It's from an adult? He almost shocked the eggs out of me. Chintzy admitted. It's that serious. You're going to be in such trouble with the head. Well, I guess I'll let you hear it. She cleared her throat to acknowledge her formality of the situation, then she recited Ephraim's letter. After she finished, the tent was silent for a long time. The man who bends light stood as still a petrified stump. As the minutes dragged by, the quiet staring to itch. Chinky plucked a couple of particularly beautiful chest feathers before she could realize how nervous she was. She cleared her throat. He shortened your name. Such as it is. Lightbender. Clever. Much more modern. When he didn't respond, she bobbed her head and added, he called me ma'am, too. You should take notes. As if your ego needs stroking. He folded his legs and sank onto a tasseled floor cushion. Ephraim Tuttle, he murmured. That is something I did not expect. Who is he? Looking about as special as a goose on a pond. If you ask me, Not the sort we usually deal with. The man who bends light looked thoughtful. He is a child who is called Circus Mirandus. Or he was. And he was special, compared to the most. He stared down with long fingers and a smile crept across his lips. He showed me a magic trick. A real one? Quite. He glanced at her. Do you know what Ephraim wants for his miracle? I'm not sure. He wants to talk to you. Maybe. Chincy refused to look at him. What is it? He's very old, she said, and he's dying, I think. The man who bends light flinched. Dying? What if he wants something impossible? Well, that's a problem for you, isn't it? Chincy turned her head around to prune a few feathers that had been musted in the rain. I don't even know the children could have miracles. Never heard of that before. Nobody before Ephraim had ever asked to. I didn't expect him to wait so long. I had almost forgotten. He was pacing now, back and forth in front of Chitsy Perch. I'll have to speak to Mr. Head. He'll feed you to one of his creatures, she prodigied. Nevertheless, he strode toward the curtain that served as a door. Go back to Ephraim. Find out exactly what he needs. I must be prepared. What do you mean, go back? I just got home. Back, he said. Talk to Porter about a door. Chincy fluffed herself to so threateningly prosciutous. I'm not your carrier pigeon. Go. The word echoed between them. Chincy hated it when he used that voice, that deep tone with his magic bleeding through the edges. She grounded her beak. Fine, she squeaked. I don't know how you got into this mess anyway. Thought you didn't offer miracles. I did once, he said softly. The lamps in the test seemed to dim for a moment. Before. Okay, guys, that was chapter 5 of Circus Mirandus called The Messenger. Goodbye.